Hello there. I'm Scotty. You're not welcome back to Birth Month 2024, day number 19. You know what tomorrow is then. Uh, so, at least actually, I'm filming this on the 6th of February, but this will be uploaded by then. But anyway, we are taking a look at Good, the Bad, and Huckleberry Hound, or as the uh, go to and come back from commercial stingers say, the Good, the Bad, and the Huckleberry. Yeah, so this is a manufactured on demand DVD from Warner Archive. Yeah, so it was done from a TV print, apparently. So, you get, we'll be right back with the Good, the Bad, and Huckleberry. And we're back with Good, Bad, and Huckleberry. Like, every time I'm supposed to go to commercial, it does that. Which I don't remember it doing on the VHS rip. So, when they did this, they didn't do it from the VHS rip. They did it from the TV rip. I don't know. But the story of the Good, the Bad, and Huckleberry Hound is that Huckleberry Hound is this mysterious type stranger who comes into this town called say on the back what it's called. I forgot what it's called. 2-Bit. The town is called 2-Bit. He comes into this town as a mysterious type stranger, and the town gets overrun by the Dalton boys: Stinky, Pinky, Blink, Winky, and Dinky. Of three of the Dalton boys, as Stinky ends up in jail, but he eventually gets out and causes havoc, gets his brothers out, takes over the town. So it's up to Huckleberry Hound to save the day, and so this was one of the ones that I rented growing up. Now, here in my podunk town in Minnesota, we had two video places we could rent from back in the day. Blockbuster was a big one. Eventually, we had Hollywood Video, which is weird because they were like very close to each other. I swear they were in the same area. And then, but there was also one little rental place not downtown. I don't know what you call it, in a little area, but there was a movie theater next to it, but it was called Star Video. We go in and there was stars all over the place. And I would rent from there from time to time. My mom had to go to Sterling Drug or whatever it was called back then. It wasn't Main Street back then. It is now, but it's not now. It was not then. But so I would rent movies. My grandma would go there, and this, the Good, the Bad, and Huckleberry Hound was one of them that I rented. I remember specifically renting this one from there, as well as other Hanna-Barbera ones that they had, like a Real Adventures of Johnny Quest VHS with the cartoons on, stuff like that. Excuse me. So I remember watching this quite a bit growing up, actually. I think I only rented it a couple times. It's been a long time since watching this, and it is your typical Hanna-Barbera fare. But this is one of those where it has a lot of Hanna-Barbera characters. Not just Huckleberry Hound. You got Yogi Bear and Boo Boo and Quickstraw McGraw and Baba Louie. You got Hokey Wolf, who is the mayor of the town. You have who else? I feel like there's a couple more characters that should be in here. Snagglepuss. Yeah, Snagglepuss. Probably the other one. And of course, Huckleberry Hound. Right? But you got those characters. It's well rounded. And you have, generally they come with their gags, such as Huckleberry Hound singing "Oh My Darling Clementine," or Snagglepuss not even doing very good on stage. Yogi and Boo Boo, even though they're far away from their joke is that they left Jellystone because Yogi hated all the people going, look at the bears, look at the bears, look at the bears. And of course, as you may tell, as soon as he says that, some people go by and go, look at the bears, look at the bears, look at the bears. And it is very weird to see two bears who should be in the woods in the middle of a desert in a western setting. I don't know. Yeah. And Hokey doesn't have any gags, but he is the mayor for some reason. And Quick Draw and Baba Louie are there, and you think they would be the sheriffs. Maybe he was the sheriff and he gave it up, I don't remember. But, like, the one gag with him is his thinning, because it's thinking, but because, you know, Baba Louie is a Mexican stereotype. He says thinning. So, but the narrator, which is also Don Messick, I believe, is the narrator. He says that their chances of winning are thinning, and that's, hold on now, there's thinning around here, because you got to get that gag in at some point. We don't see any appearance from El Cabong. I feel like this movie is a half hour too long, because we start off with Huckleberry Hound reaching the town, and so he outsmarts these, and you know, all this outsmarting, and there's no violence, because you can't have violence. So, like, they come in with their guns, and no guns allowed, and put it away. And so, the way he does it is the typical Hanna-Barbera cartoon fashion. Goes back even before that to the 40s with Bugs Bunny, where they do the typical, the Daltons are running away from Huckleberry Hound, and he's constantly always there no matter where they go. One of those gags. Droopy did it the best. You'll never change my mind on that. Droopy was the best. There's a Cartoon Network short called Thanks a Latte with Droopy and that wolf, you know, the wolf, where he's, you know, it came out back in the 90s, and they played it all the time, and they played it on Boomerang all the time. But that's one of my favorite shorts, because it shows that's the best gag. That's one of the best gags to do, and Droopy was the best at it. But Droopy was a Tex Avery cartoon, I think. I don't think he's Hanna-Barbera. Although he's associated with Tom and Jerry, which are Hanna-Barbera, so I don't know. But I just realized this is a little off. How's that? Better. Okay. So like I said, I feel like this is a half hour too long, because I feel like they had to fill this hour and a half special, and at some point, it just goes. So he's taking all these Daltons and he's all smarting them, honestly. But then they, you know, because it starts with three of them, Dinky, Winky, and Blinky, are in jail. So Stinky, and everyone's all afraid of Stinky. None of the townspeople want to help because Stinky Dalton is coming. He gets there, and what does he do? No guns, so he tries to blow him up, because that's safer than guns, apparently. Doesn't work, he gets thrown back at him. You do the gag, and then he decides, I'm going to get my brothers out. He does that. But, by the way, he brings in a cake, and of course, Huckleberry Hound, he's smart, so he's like, I need to check to make sure there's no file in here. So instead of going through it like this, he eats the cake. And I'm like, well, what if that was a sincere cake and you just ate it for them? But no, he gives them all the weapons to escape and dig out of there. Then the four of them take over the town. They send Huckleberry Hound on a rocket ship. I just think that he's dead. Everyone thinks that he's dead. And they take over the town and call it Daltonville. And here we are, almost an hour in, and they decide, let's do an entire freaking recap of the entire first hour of the film. No kidding. They did that. They go through and they do a recap. And then we're going to do an amnesia story with Huckleberry Hound, where he doesn't remember who he is and is only known as the Blue something or other. Blue Bandit or Blue Bandito, Blue something. I don't know. and falls in love with this Native American woman, but her father doesn't like it because he's blue and blue ombre. He's blue and they're all yellow. So they do this contest where one, he has to answer a bunch of questions, and due to pure luck, he gets all of them right. Because the chief keeps cheating and buzzing in from the he's not gonna know the answers, and he just sort of, well, I don't know, straight up out of nowhere, answers aren't really answers, and he's right every single time. So then he has a test of strength, and he fails that. And they say if you fail one test, you lose, right? So, yeah, you lose. But then the princess, or whatever her name is, I forgot her name, she falls off a cliff because the dirt gives way, and she falls into the river, and Huckleberry goes to save her, and that's when they decide they're going to get married. Like, you can marry her, that's fine. You saved her, you can marry her. And wouldn't you know it, right when they're getting to do the marriage, well, it's time to get the plot back on track. So his faithful, trusty horsey named Bob, faithful and trusty horse named Bob shows up. And voiced by Frank Welker, you can tell it's Frank Welker. And basically tells him, hey, your name's Huckleberry Hound, and you got kicked out of Dalton, or you kicked out of 2-Bit, the Daltons. And he's like, I remember that now. And so he says he abandons the marriage for now, but says he will go back. He's got to finish this movie. So he doesn't say that, but that's what it is. Because they're like, we have to push this out to an hour and a half. If they made this an hour, only could you have taken out some of the fluff from the first hour of this. But you could have made this, a decent hour-long special and be fine. But because we have to have this be an hour and a half, we have to do an amnesia story with Huckleberry Hound and waste almost a half hour of time before we go back and everything. Oh, and by the way, he says, I'm going to take care of these guys and get the town back. Does not bring the Native Americans who could be allies to him. And what does he do? He goes and rallies the town. All because we can't really have a battle in this. So their solution is, no violence. So the solution is to make the Daltons think that Huckleberry Hound has come back as a ghost. And it works. They end up tricking him to run back into prison. And, I'm not really a ghost. And yeah, the whole town comes together to do that. It becomes 2-Bit again, and then Huckleberry Hound goes back, and he marries Wildflower, I think her name is, and they live happily ever after at the end. Yeah. It's about a half hour too long. I think if they just, I don't know, cut out some of the fluff in the first hour, and then forgot about the Native American stuff and the amnesia. Just had him defeat them somehow. Maybe he gets shot in a rocket and lands outside the town. And the Daltons take over, and as he's walking back, he runs into them. And they apologize for not standing by him to fight, and they come up with a plan. You could say this is an hour and 10 minutes. With commercials, you could spread it out. Right? I guess. I don't know. It just... again, you can take up some of the fluff from the first hour, too. Like, I don't know. Maybe the other three don't get arrested, and... I don't know. But I'm going to give this a pretty good, because I did enjoy this. I enjoyed this a lot, actually. But I did notice that one little thing that keeps going over the top is that, the amnesia thing, why are we doing this? This is like, it's just a little bit of filler. So, yeah. So, okay. So, here's the situation. I have situated the rest of this month. This is the end of the Handlebar Marathon that I was doing. I cannot, excuse me, I cannot do any more animated films. It is bugging the hell out of me. It's hard to concentrate. I put too many in this, to be honest. So the Flintstone ones are going to have to wait till about next year. The Batman vs. Dracula, which is what I was going to do, that's going to have to wait. And there was a couple other ones, Osmosis Jones and all that. So I've resituated the whole thing, and there's going to be some revisited reviews because I didn't want to have to dig for any new ones. So I'm like, oh, some revisited reviews would be easy to find. These ones, you know. So there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think about 6, 7. 7 revisited reviews. But the ones I haven't talked about in a while, one of them was in the first birth month, but I'm bringing it back for a visit so I could do the sequel and a potential sequel-a-thon for this potentially. I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. This year at least, I don't know. But anyway, what are your thoughts on the good, the bad, and Huckleberry Hound? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.